Hi, Shiva. Very nice
Alex.
to be connecting with you and, from our Microsoft days. And then after that, kind of the journeys went different based on your journey, my journey, and the different people. And then happened to meet you around in 2017-18, at the NASCOM event. And I was really blown. And I was actually watching you, your work and all that through the different social media, LinkedIn and all. Very impressed. So, do
Thank
you
you.
want to share about your journey, Shiva? Because I found it very, very inspirational in terms of the social impact it has been making.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Yeah.
Sure.
So, Akila is also part of this session. And if you look at our thing, both Akila and I, we come from lower middle class background, Lakshmi, right? So, the society literally helped us to get to where we are. For example, it was not an easy thing for us to pay the school fees or college fees or anything like that. But a lot of people helped us. And I got into a good college, which is now NID Trichy, at the time RZ Trichy, then worked in big companies, right? So be it Wipro or going to the US, and worked in a company which is now Entity Data or Adobe or even Microsoft, where we know each other, right? So if you look at all that, and God has been very, very kind, for us. So we always felt that the society has given us so much. What is it that we can give back to society? And while I've been pretty much in the corporate sector, Akela has been more in the disability sector for almost 20 years. She has been working on the disability sector. She started as a volunteer for a blind school and working with the blind students, recording their subjects for them and seeing them succeed in their exams and everything. Then she became a special educator working with kids with autism, cerebral palsy and everything. And so she has been very focused on the disability sector. I've been pretty much on the corporate. So when we thought, what is it we can give back to society? Then we said, can we look at upskilling? That is what I was thinking. Probably we got to upskill people and not focus on giving money. They should be in a position to make money so they can spend in whatever they want to spend, right? And Akila was very focused on, can we do it for persons with disability? So, and then we said, okay, now why can't we start something from our home itself? We started with the 3 tables. Another friend gave some chairs as donation. One more friend gave used computers as donation. We started with 3 candidates whom we trained in software testing. Then we were able to place them in, big companies. Till then, when we trained the persons with the disabilities, who are all graduates actually, they kept telling me that, sir, all my seniors, and they have only got data entry jobs, even though they have done engineering or BSc or BA or whatever. They only do data entry jobs. So it's very likely I will only get that. Why are you struggling and pushing us so hard? But luckily they got into software testing roles in big MNC. Then the next batch came and said, I want IT roles. So that is when we realized, there are not enough role models with the persons with the disabilities. That's why they keep their expectations very low. Then along the way, we came across people who knew only sign language. At that time, we did not know anything about sign language. And so another NGO helped us with interpreters. Then we trained them in software development. Then we were able to place them in a Fortune 100 company, which recruited 13 candidates in that batch. 9 of them were deaf, who had done either engineering or BSc computer science or anything. Then 1 person was with the person with the low vision, 3 people were with the locomotor disability. So, then some parents came and said, my kid is a person with autism, can you do something about it? Then Akila curated a course for them. Then we did that. Then another parent came and said, my son got a job through you in a IT job, but my second son has done commerce. Can you do something for them? Then we created a BFSI, banking, financial, insurance, that sector. We started training for that. So if you look at it today, we have trained about close to 1,500 candidates, and a combination of persons with disabilities, women, people below poverty line. 85% are persons with disabilities, and 15% are either women or people below poverty line. The candidates come across from a disability sector, 18 different disabilities. People who are visually impaired, people who are deaf, people in the neurodiverse spectrum, locomotor disability, dwarfism, all that, right? So,
Such a
um,
gratitude.
yeah. So,
Really, that really comes out, hearing about
yeah,
the 1,500 people and then 85% of them coming from those kind of
correct.
abilities. Hats off to
Yeah.
you and your team, Shiva. Hats
Thank
off.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So maybe before we go on some of the questions, Lakshmi, I know that you pivoted into a different role. And it'll be good for all of us to understand as to what you're doing now and how it is helping people.
Sure, definitely. So, yeah. So pretty much with 30 plus years of industry experience. So I worked in Microsoft 8.5 years. I worked as a scientist in Ministry of Defense in the Prithvi group of missiles. I used to go for the flight trials of the missiles, Prithvi, Dhanush, those. And additionally, after Microsoft, I kind of moved on to NTT, Yash Technologies, few such companies. One thing that has been right from my childhood is, if I really look back at my backstory, I lost my parents when I was hardly 7 years. And
Oh,
we
okay.
are from a family of seven siblings where I'm the youngest. And I lost my parents when I was 7. My brothers and sisters took care of me. And and one thing in the society, right, in general, what happens is in the extended family and all, they call you Anatha. They start making fun of it. It's the kids only, right? Kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So that kind of, drove a resolution in me. I used to feel bad, drove a resolution that, uh, uh, I mean, I should not be insulted like this. So I should have a respect for myself. So how can I do that? All the 10 years ka thoughts and all that, right? Then the only thing usually teachers say, you have to study well. If you study well, you'll get a good job. If you like that, they say, right? If you get a good job, you will make a nice life like that. So I went that route, and incidentally, God's grace in all my academics and all, I was in the top. I've done my engineering, I've done my master's, and like that, I kind of, my life journey went on, marriage, two children, and that way. So service is something that comes naturally to me as my second nature, and doing a lot of service. So I was also involved for 17 plus years as a general secretary for an orphan home here itself in
Oh,
Malkajgiri, near my
okay.
place, where children from the destitute children from the street, uh, whom don't have parents, around 7 of them, we kind of got them, and we kind of took care of their entire education, both girls and boys, and today they are leading a great life. So education is done. So for me, one thing that naturally comes is, the service as one part. And
Yeah,
definitely because we also need to survive the professional piece, and that has taken me along in the technical field. So I recently took a voluntary retirement. I'm now 58, took voluntary retirement, and now I started my second innings to basically kind of, in the context of the branding, right? The brand science aspect of it. Because when we look around in the society, there are so many people who have done such great things and are doing
yeah,
also. So being able to bring the branding aspect of that and then enable the entrepreneurs. So especially my target is around the entrepreneurs being
very good.
ability to enable them, the small and medium enterprise entrepreneurs, and also aspiring entrepreneurs. And some of them, in the 18 to 30 years also, they would have a lot of aspiration. So because I'm from the research background, through brand science and research,
Yeah,
being able to enable them grow their brand, grow their worth, and then, kind of shine further in their lives. So
wonderful.
that way, one aspect of it involves identifying and bringing out the brand aspect. So one thing is that is with you because for the work you are doing, and another one is I know few female women who have done it great. So my next series is women and social impact.
Very good. Very good.
No, I know few ladies and someone who is also in US, but helping and working at the grassroots of India here and enabling them through their service.
Very
And
good.
then the next in series is educationalists and social impact, because again, I've seen few people in the educational line, while they are there as teachers, as principals and all that, they have really made a social impact at the grassroots level. See, definitely people who have made an impact have come on the top, have the branding and all that, and their corporate lives and all, they take care of them. right? But I really want to get to those kind of people and bring out that brand aspect in them and make it known to the people, to the world around the work they are doing. So that way, one other initiative is the NGO DigiReach, digital reach. So I want to
Very,
enable the NGOs in terms of enhancing their visibility, their engagement, and through campaigns, enabling even the funding for them. So
very
now it's like I'm a digital marketing coach. So basically brand science and digital marketing coach. So through digital marketing methods, I want to enable all these kind of people, in getting that visibility, the engagement, and reaching out further. And that way enabling our country as such.
wonderful, wonderful.
That's
I
it.
think, after moving from the corporate to the NGO sector also, there is one thing we have seen. We see so many people doing wonderful job, but even, telling that story in a way that
The
makes
brand
sense. So
storytelling, the
that
story.
is, it doesn't come naturally. So I think it's important for us to help people tell those experiences and stories. Thanks for doing this. I'm sure a lot more people will benefit. Right. So very good.
Yeah. So one question I have for you.
Sure.
Again, you kind of called out how you originated and all that, but what was that one motivating factor or that influencing factor in you that has brought you to the WinVinaya Foundation?
So, see, the key thing has been on, because the society helped us so much, what is it we can give back to society? So
That's
that
correct.
was one thing. And the second thing was we strongly believe that whatever we do, we should enable them to lead a life with dignity. Right.
Mm.
So that is always the key thing. So, for example, in WinVinaya Foundation, the people whom we have placed in different companies, the
Mhm.
average salary is double of what they would normally get otherwise.
Wow.
So the person with the disability, if you look at it, generally they get anywhere from 10 to 12K per month. Our candidates get an average of 26K per month. Right. So that is what we strongly believe in. So how do we enable them to do that? So that is one thing. And the
Mm.
second thing, and good that you're talking about this branding and you're working with this MSMEs and everything,
Mm.
as we move forward, we believe that it's not about only the placement, but
Mm.
also it should be more on how do we help them with income generation, which means
Right.
that, let us say, and placing them in companies is one way of generating income.
Right.
Second thing could be self-employment. The third thing could be they could become entrepreneurs, like they can start up with MSMEs and grow. And can we create a situation wherein a person with the disability is giving jobs to persons without disabilities, right?
Mm.
So there is a possibility. We could do a lot of things. It is just that we got to create the right ecosystem for them to do that. So, as we learn more by working with the different kinds of people, we also can see that there are certain people who have tremendous amount of energy and who could actually add so much value to themselves, to the country, by becoming entrepreneurs, not
Right.
just working for a company, right?
Right.
So, and what I'm thinking, Lakshmi, is that probably even after this call, let's have some brainstorming session, in the next few months, and then see what are the ways in which we can all collaborate to make some of these things happen, right? We are also very focused on women, and how do we make them entrepreneurs? Because there is a lot of mindset, right? So that is what probably we got to do something about it,
Sure.
right?
So, so that way, right? Basically, the way I enable this brand storytelling and the branding aspect is a three-step process. Digital vision. Have a vision because today it's the digital world.
Correct.
Have digital vision. Plan for your digital presence and then digi monetize. These are the three steps. So I
Very good.
take them through these three steps.
Very
And
good. Very good.
incidentally, very recently, I got an opportunity. You must have heard about Pragna Bharati, which is one of the wings of RSS. They are conducting this Lok Manthan event 2024 in Hyderabad. It seems it happens every 2 years. And for them, the 70% plus of the target audience are the 18 to 30, because they want to bring about, in this age group, our culture, the richness of our culture, the richness of our tradition, while also catching up with the digital age, right? So that is where, for example, I've been given the opportunity with them to be able to help them with the content for their campaigns and all that for this event. Further discussions are on, and their theme is basically Lok Avalokan, where they want to trigger that aspect in the youth 18 to 30. And this is where we can really enable them by this 3-step process, basically, right? Have a vision, digital vision, plan for the digital presence, and then digi-monetize. Because today the world, so much of globalization, the same thing we can sit and do. I can be in Australia, you can be in India, anywhere globally we can do this kind of work, or any work. That is what we are, pandemic, in a way, I would say COVID has just enabled the world in that manner, when I look at the positive aspect of it. Right, because no more dependency of the physical presence, no more
Yeah.
dependency around, that mindset aspect. Okay, for example, if even we both were to collaborate, that hindrance is not in the mind, right?
Yeah.
So that way, today it will enable 18 to 30, if you really see, is a crucial age group in our country, or in anywhere across millennials, right? So being able to take them through that. And again, now, since you focus heavily on the abled ones, right, the differently abled ones, another great opportunity to be able to again give back to the society, give back to the nation. So definitely, as you said, we can further
Sure.
continue to collaborate. And as I'm progressing, I will also keep you informed, and we can forward in that direction.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Sure. So I would have the next question for you. How do you see technology playing a role, and in these days, in the digital age again, right? Because you know what, sometime in around 2000 Y2K time, I saw one ad from AppTech. At that time, Apple technology, AppTech,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The ad said, if you do not update yourself today, tomorrow you will be looked down upon as an ape. Right? So, I mean, the world is moving so fast. The technology is advancing so much. As we are talking, new tools are coming. AI, artificial intelligence, ML. For good, it is enabling so much, right? Now, in this age, how do you see further enabling and moving forward in your mission?
Very good. And thanks for that question, Lakshmi. What we have seen is that the assistive tech, especially, is a great leveler and it's a great enabler, right? So when Akila, for example, when she was volunteering for the blind students to write their 10th exams and everything, at that time she used to record in a tape recorder, right? All these lessons so that they can rewind and listen to that and everything. But today there are screen readers, right? So as long as you have the documents, for example, you can use the screen readers to do it. There is something called Seeing AI, which is another wonderful app from Microsoft, which they can just show it and it will explain the surroundings for them. The other day, I another friend of mine who's a person with visual impairment, we went to a restaurant and previously I used to read out the menu so that he can say he wants masala dosa or whatever. This time I said, okay, now can I read out? He said no. He opened this app and he's looking at that menu and he's ordering it on his own, right? So the whole idea is that the tech can literally make them lead a life independently, so there is one thing. So now, if you look at the smartphones, right, the people with visual impairment can use smartphones like nobody's business. They can order things, stuff like that. And if they don't make it accessible, the person with visual impairment will just go to the other, site which is accessible and buy things, because they have the money, they're ready to buy things. So whoever is keeping their websites accessible, their apps accessible, they will go and buy it. So, now instead of looking at them through a charity lens, the people who are creating these products, if they can look at them as potential customers, then we can make a lot of difference. So this is with respect to persons with the, visual impairment. So remember that you enable this closed caption in Zoom itself. Now, persons with the hearing impairment can, understand whatever we are talking, right? So look at this technology now, right? Now, they use sign language. Think about a situation wherein we were using all these feature phones, right? Today, with the smartphone, they can just open up WhatsApp, they can do a video call, let us say to their parents, and they can do the sign language. The other person can communicate. So then this is a very simple assistive tech. Now because that assistive tech is there, previously look at it as to how a person with hearing impairment would communicate with their friends and families. Let us say they are outside the, they are not nearby. It would have been so much more tougher for them to do it. But now, because it's all video, They can easily communicate through this. So if you look at each of these technologies, it just makes their life so much more simpler. In India, 70% of persons with disabilities come from rural background, right? Even a person without disability coming from a rural background, their English is not that great. For them, because the education itself is not so inclusive, their English is also not very good. But now, let us say they write whatever they want to write in a chat GPT and ask it to change it. It improves their English very well. And let us say they take a document, it's a 100-page document, let us say. They go to a Microsoft Copilot and upload that and then say, can you summarize this one? Within 20 seconds, it summarizes. Let us say there is a video without any closed captions. Let us say a deaf person, gives that YouTube link in Microsoft Copilot or, many of these other Gen AI tools, and then say that, okay, can you help me with the transcript? Trust me, within 30 seconds, it's able to give the transcript.
Wow.
So now the technology is out there. It's a matter of, making them understand that all these things are possible, right? In WinVinaya, what we are trying to do is to make many of the NGOs aware of the capabilities and the power of all these technologies. So many assistive tech is already there. Discovering that is a problem. Many are not aware of that. If we can make the discovery so much more easier, and also, work with, companies which are ready to sell products and services, and work with them and then say that, okay, now, can you start looking at persons with disabilities, not through a charity lens, but as potential customers who are ready to pay you money, then it's very likely that they will make a lot more things accessible, right? So this, in our view, it has made so much more easier. For example, let us say we are talking about a particular concept, which is very difficult for a person with the disability to understand. They can just say, I've seen people actually write it and then say, can you explain this as if we are going to explain it to a 10-year-old? Then it explains with very good examples. Now you can go and ask, can you give examples in which is relevant to a deaf, which is relevant to a blind? It's able to give a lot of examples so that they can, understand a lot of things. So I think, wonderful technology is there. For example, persons with visual impairment, we trained our trainers with visual impairment in Power BI. Power BI, if you look at it, it's a data visualization tool.
Right.
And how would a person who's visually impaired use a visualization tool? But the beauty is Microsoft has made it accessible anyway. So through that, a person with visual impairment can do almost 70% of what a person who's sighted can do. So if you come to WinVinaya, you can see our trainers with visual impairment actually creating Power BI reports.
Wow.
Right? So the technology is there. And, and companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they're all Apple, they're all making many of their products accessible. And because of this, people across disabilities are able to consume this in a beautiful way. But the key thing in our view is that we got to discover that, we got to ensure that there are enough people to, get onto this bandwagon, and then train so many people across, including corporates, including persons with disabilities, including educators, including parents, that all these things are possible. The more we talk about it, I think it will only get better and better. So assistive tech, in our view, is a great leveler, Lakshmi.
Wow, awesome.
It's made their life beautiful.
You know what, for example, even I worked on Power BI dashboards and all as a designer and all that for the organization, the CRM report, the CRM and all. So with eyes, if I could do, and you're saying, someone with visual impairment and they're doing and enabling. So this tells me as we move forward and you further kind of, people like you enabling, tomorrow, the teachers, would be agnostic of the abilities while they're teaching these kind of subjects.
Correct.
And that would be a great, great gift to humanity itself in the first place, because it would become agnostic of those things.
Exactly.
And also it can serve as a motivation for the actual abled ones also. Wow, when someone can do it, why not I also? Right?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm really very, very interested to know about it. And whenever I get a chance, definitely I'll come to WinVinaya and, look forward to this one.
Not just that, Lakshmi, when you come to WinVinaya, we will show you as to how a person with visual impairment does skating. They do skating, and we can teach them skating. See, you also talked about all these mindsets, right? How you grew up, you were putting certain image of yourself as to how you see yourself and grow. So the way we see our life is that we should just treat persons with disabilities as anyone else. Keep the bar high, give them similar opportunities. Maybe you got to fine tune the way in which you got to train them, you got to teach them. But once you do that, then you can see magic happen, right? So instead of saying that, okay, now, oh, you're a person with visual impairment, you cannot skate. Who told us that they cannot skate?
That's our mindset. That's a block in
Exactly.
our mindset.
Yeah.
Because
So yeah,
what you said now, what you said now for a simple one as the Power BI has really opened up for someone like me. I mean, a very naive and a very normal human being, right? For others, for very intellectual people and more people into this kind of, be doing research or, these kind of NGO opportunities, it will really open up many, many more avenues for them also.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome, Shiva. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing such insights. Now we'll move on to another question. Yeah. So, as part of you continuing to work in this, what role do you see for partnerships and collaborations play in achieving your goals for WinVinaya? Obviously, you would have your goals, right? So that way, what happens? It can really enable you, and that you will be able to make very impactful, more impact to the society.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Lakshmi, in our view, no single organization, no matter how big they are, they can make the change on their own, right? So it's extremely important for us to collaborate. That is the first thing.
Absolutely.
And we are all here to make a social impact, right?
Absolutely.
And they say, right, when everybody comes together, there is the way, there is the only way you can move a temple chariot forward. Everybody has to join, then it doesn't matter who's standing in the front or who's standing in the back and pulling that thing, right? Everybody has to come together. That is the way for all of us to move forward. So collaboration is such a key thing. And the most important thing in our view is, we got to look at that entire life cycle, look at all the stakeholders. For example, we got to involve the parents, their families. They are an important stakeholder. When we talk about collaboration, we tend to think in terms of companies and all that, right? Companies are important, but what about parents? Because they influence a lot of decisions. They need to know what is there, right? And the families need to know. And what about collaborating with emergency services like police, like judiciary, like hospitals? They also need to know how to work with the persons with the disabilities. And the persons with the disability should know how to demand their rights and everything, right? So they are wonderful collaborators for us to do. Obviously, the corporates are there. What about educationists? Because many times, for example, if I want to talk about what is the next college, very likely that we will go and talk to the principal. Very likely we'll talk to the teachers, and what they say makes a huge difference for us. We got to include them as important collaborators. And NGOs themselves, right? We should, in our view, we should not look at them as competitors. That's a very silly way of looking at it. If there is a way we can look at them as friends, collaborators, there'll be a certain portion wherein the same amount of money they might be giving proposals, you might be giving proposals. That is fine. And but if you look at the overall thing, there is enough people who are ready to support, be it financially or otherwise. So if there's a way we can collaborate, for example, we collaborate with the Selco Foundation, right? And the Selco Foundation works with a lot of MSMEs in many rural sectors, right? And they have a great connects with the people on the ground, whereas we are very, very strong in the digital space, right? By collaborating with these people, what we are getting is they are able to bring all these people to the training that we are providing, be it on, because they are MSMEs, they don't even know how to use WhatsApp. They consume the information in WhatsApp, but they don't know how to contribute or create posters, So we help them with that. We help them with physical discipline using Zoho books and stuff like that, right? So if we can make a difference like that, think about the power, right? Otherwise, they will have to think about digital training. We'll have to think about connecting directly with the candidates, which is never going to be in working. But if there's a way we can all come together, collaborate, then definitely we can amplify the impact. So that is what we strongly believe in: looking at different stakeholders, collaborating, having an open mind. And whenever we go and talk to the people, when they say, what is it you want, we change the thing and then say, what is it you want? Help us understand your problem. And then we will see, is there a way we can talk about our solutions which can solve your problem, then probably you can ask about our problem. So
Right.
generally we go about selling things or
Right.
selling our services or selling our training or those things. But if there's a way we can change it and then say, tell us in what way we can help you. If that can be the first level of conversation, then I think they will feel more comfortable and they will ask us in what way I can help you. That is all. I think we can make the world a much better place.
Absolutely. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Shiva, for those
Sure.
insights. So again, right, in continuation. So now, what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs? And especially, I would say we can take different age brackets for now. I would say in the age group of 18 to 30, because, these days, so many opportunities are available, so much of globalization, and with just, a touch of a finger, it can make life, right? It can make a career, it can make a business. So for the current millennials and people in the 18 to 30 years, what is your advice to them?
Yeah. So, see, if you look at the current crop also, as you rightly said, there are so many opportunities available, right? And if you look at some of the latest reports about the market and how things are going to be, at least one of the report that I read, it said that, okay, now the formal sector employment, it's likely to come down and more people are going to be self-employed, more people are going to be entrepreneurs. A lot of things that people are used to doing today, some of those jobs will vanish, but they will start using some of these AI tools and everything to become more self-employed, right? So, for example, we have the Amazons of the world, the Flipkarts of the world. Now we are talking about the ONDC, which is a huge thing coming up in India. UPI, it's such a wonderful story, which even some of the developed countries don't have. So if you look at many of these things, I would say they're all in pockets. If there is a way that our people can look at it and then say, this is something I don't like, beautiful. Now we identified a problem. Can we think about a solution? So, and then do it, right? So the way, as we move forward, just like we are doing all the hackathons, wherein coding problems can be solved and stuff like that. If there's a way we can think about a problem, come out with interesting, if this is a problem, what do you think could be the solution? And then approach it. Then for all we know, they could create solutions on their own and they could sell and they can make money and do it. So the way we see it, that could be a lot more sustainable. It could give them, much more power. And whatever, when people look at it from the perspective of, can I have this work-life balance kind of a thing? Now, when they are self-employed or when they're an entrepreneur, it's up to them. They have the power to choose what they want to choose. And they can choose to do, a social impact. So the way we see, if you look at our journey in WinVinaya, Lakshmi, is that we initially thought in terms of only placing people, but now we are saying so much opportunities. And now, and as a matter of fact, we have given a proposal to one of the funders and then say, can we look at women in exactly the age group that you're talking about? Can we look at women entrepreneurs and help them grow their business? Help them customer base and all that. If we can do that, if we can understand what they're doing, the next thing could be, can we work with persons with disabilities?
Absolutely.
Can we make them entrepreneurs? I think it's all about, the role models. We don't see enough role models. If we can create the role models, I think, nobody can stop us. We can create a lot more.
Sure. So in talking to you, one other thing that actually came up is normally when we talk about key message and then we ask people, right? For example, you also gave this message. And after talking to you, listening to you, one thing that opened up for me here is, any such things we come up with, we should always consider the differently abled ones, which normally the mind doesn't go with.
Yeah.
And here now, I would like to give an example. What exactly happened was when I was in Microsoft around 2010 time, there was this every year we have the giving event, right? So in one year, this particular Devnar Institute for the Blind Children in Begumpet, Hyderabad, they had come there. So I was volunteering for that along with others. And then we took them to the lunch and all that. And later after that, and these were especially girls, we took them to the toilets. Okay. And, really, it told me how foolish I was and how, broad-minded I was not. So I was hand-holding them and taking kids only, right? Just hardly, they would be 10, 12 years aged. So like that, I was getting one, and one girl I took and, I opened the door of that washroom. And then I said, go. And then I kind of pull the door, like, we do normally for the able children, right? They go and they finish up their work. And I was standing there, but I closed it. You know what that girl asked me, which really hurt me so badly, not hurt, about myself, my ignorance. She said, Auntie, which side should I, face and sit?
Yeah, yeah.
That was, so bad of me that, I was not even cognizant of that fact that she was, differently able. She would not know which side also, and I should really hold the hand and make her sit like that, right? So now, while talking to you, this one just came up. So whenever we come up with initiatives or come up with any such thing, we should always keep this sector in the mind as well. It's not always for the goody things, right? So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Shiva, for that. Again, it really opened another dimension.
Thanks. And Lakshmi, in our experience also, see, initially when we started our WinVinaya Foundation, we said enabling differently able to succeed. But along the way, some of the persons with the disabilities, they said they don't like that term so much. They don't like the term differently able, specially able. Then they said they are comfortable with that identity of disability. They said the United Nations apparently says put the person in front of disability. So we say person with the disability or people with the disability or person with visual impairment, person with hearing impairment. So we started using those terms. That is one thing. And as you rightly said, there is a lot of ignorance. And one of that was also that I used to offer help, but over a period of time, what I've also realized is, and many of our colleagues who are with persons with disabilities, they started correcting me and then saying, help us when we ask you, right? Don't assume.
Right.
Then we said, fair enough. So now we kind of give them that space, and when they ask us, then we do them. So to your point also, I don't think you should feel bad about it. It is good that she asked you, right? And you thought, okay, now she can take care of herself, which is, in my view, the right thing. Okay, if she needs help, she needs to ask, and that is exactly what she did. Then you were able to help, right? But let us say you just offered to her when she already knew the answer. Actually, that is when she will feel bad, right?
Okay.
So in a way, I think it's a good thing that you did. And that is what I have learned. When we offer help, when they don't ask for it, then, they feel actually bad, right? So all of them, and make it very clear. If you need help, just ask us. We are here. But if we can take care of your thing, please do, right? So
Sure. Hey, thank you so much for that education, that
sure.
piece of education. Because small things really matter a lot, Shiva, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And yeah, so one other question. Looking ahead, what are your future goals for WinVinaya Foundation? And in terms of further scaling and then making the impact, maybe in the next 1 year, 3 years, whatever, that kind of a vision, so that, people, the viewers listening and the other people, right? Definitely it can open up different avenues, different doors, and for collaborations. Again, as you said, collaboration first starts with the system itself, right? For example, me, my husband, my children, my family, that's the support system in the first place. And then the Heisenberg, the, what do we call that? Maslow's law of hierarchy, right? The minimal needs are met, the minimal security things are met. And then that is when we further go up the ladder. So definitely in that manner, considering your future aspiration, if you can share some insights, it may definitely open up avenues.
So if you look at the way we started WinVinaya Foundation also, Lakshmi, we are focused on more on, for example, how do we train a graduate with disability, upskill them, and help them get a job. That's how we started. Along the way, we realized that is like looking at the leaves and then watering them. We should be watering the roots, not the leaves. So then we started looking at it from the perspective of, should we go to the colleges? Should we go to the schools? So now we are looking at all these things. So when you're talking about the next few years plan, we definitely want to work more with the schools, colleges, and the graduates. So that is one perspective. The second thing is that whenever we talk about India, there are 70 million persons with disabilities.
Wow.
And what we have done is only 1,500 people. It's a good number, but if you look at the overall problem, it's not even a drop. It's much smaller than a drop. So how do we collaborate? As you rightly said, unless we collaborate, we cannot do. With whom all can we collaborate? We can collaborate with NGOs, corporates, and more importantly, with parents' organization and also with government. because if you talk about government, any particular state, we'll be talking in terms of lakhs of persons with disabilities. So if there is a way we can talk about our digital way of doing things, work with many of the governments, many of the corporates which are like-minded, and then say, how do we work with them, and then give solutions which will make it better. So the way we are thinking right now is that, can we start looking at it from a systemic change, and not gradual, from 1,000 people, can we go to 10,000 people? When do we reach 70 million?
Right.
It's not going to be possible if you only think as WinVinaya has to do it.
Right.
So we got to look at very differently, just
Right.
like UPI. UPI, just changed in the entire landscape, right? It's a very simple thing, but it changed everything. So what is it that we can think at that level, wherein we can work with all these people and make that happen? So, looking at the root causes very, very closely, looking at different stakeholders, and how do we collaborate with them? How do we collaborate with, networkers to make some of these things happen? People like you, how do we spread this message to a lot more people? So that is what, if you look at a couple of years back, we were not even talking enough to outside people.
Right.
But now we are saying it's very important for us to tell, what we could potentially do, right? So that is from a foundation. The Info Systems is a private company wherein we could really work with a lot of NGOs. We can work with corporates, we can work with education institutes and everything. And we can do it for a fee. We don't have to always keep it as a free one.
Right.
People are willing to pay a fee and then take some of these services. And there can we help to create an ecosystem. So one is on the systemic changes, think about collaboration. We will do a few things which has to be done through the foundation. We'll have to do a few things which has to be done only through a private company, because that is a right vehicle. So now that we have both the vehicles, I think through this, if you look at a couple of years down the line, I hope we will get to talk a few years down the line. At that time, we can share stories about how we moved from 1,500 people to, let us say, lakhs of people.
Absolutely. This will be an ongoing series, Shiva. This will be an ongoing series. And you are definitely welcome. I myself will come out to you and say, hey, I have seen this. You have done this. Okay, come on. Come on to the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for this.
And actually, one thing that again struck me as you are talking, see, you are talking about the impact you made to around 1,500, and then saying the larger scope is even much larger, around 70 million. And at this time, you have been functioning in such a manner that, as an independent way, and not looking around for some, definitely you need funds, but your prime motto here is not, seeking funds.
Yeah.
But your prime motto is enabling and developing and moving forward. Like, they say, teach fishing, and, for lifetime, they'll be able to kind of take care of their life. So, this is what I could grasp from the principle by which you are kind of moving forward. Yeah. So definitely this will enable you grow exponentially, Shiva.
Thank you.
Will help you grow. Because, one thing normally people see is, okay, that organization may be funding, okay, like that, certain things
correct.
The mindset, right? But now it's very, very evident that you are so independent. You means you, with your vision, with your organization, with your support system, with that you are enabling and you're moving forward. So definitely there will be many hands that will join you. And I wish you all the best to you and to everyone in your journey. And
Thank you.
With you from on this path.
Sure. So this is thank you, Lakshmi, in sign language. So okay. This is thank you. So you learned something new today.
Thank you.
Right.
I learned two things, Shiva. One, definitely this one. And the second one you said, for a person with a different ability.
Yeah, disability.
Disability. We should only ask them if they need help, and then help, rather than just offering, right?
Exactly.
Because maybe we just come out of that compassion and say, oh, maybe he needs help or she needs help.
Correct.
These are the two things I definitely learned today.
Wonderful.
And we have actually people, and maybe we can open up for any Q&A people may have for Shiva.
Yeah, so one person is asking, can we learn sign language? Yeah, definitely you can learn sign language. Okay. And we also have courses in WinVinaya Infosystems, wherein for a fee we can teach you. And the best way, for example, to learn any language is to talk to the person who already knows that language. Let's say you want to learn, Telugu. talk to a person who knows Telugu and you will pick it up. So similarly, for you to learn sign language, the best way is to, communicate with the deaf person. And many times they will teach you. But the basics of it is something which we can do it for a small fee, nominal fee, through the info systems also. Reach out to us. You can go to our website and reach out to us. We'll be happy to, share with you the details.
Nice. That was a nice response. Anyone else have any queries? You can put in the Q&A section. Or additionally, maybe Akila, you can help facilitate if there are any questions from the team.
Yeah. So MTW was saying, I'm a co-founder of NGO too. So maybe you can also help us understand which NGO, and MTW is too short thing. We can also know what your actual name is. Anjana, okay.
Anjana? Okay.
I don't know if there is an Anjana Lakshmi from Microsoft.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? And again, in my next series, Move the Wheel Foundation. Yes. Actually, next, in my next series, it is with them, the Move the Wheel Foundation people. And this NGO, they have been really enabling at the grassroots for the students across India. So they are, two people. One is Anjana and the other is my engineering classmate. She is Sunita and she lives in US. But despite being there and then collaborating with Anjana over here, they have been making a huge impact. And my next, in this series, my next session is with both of them as panelists.
Cool. So when that happens, I'll also join. So
Oh, definitely on social media, and we'll be streaming live and we'll be communicating upfront. So definitely,
absolutely.
encourage. So that is where the partnerships start getting built, right?
Correct.
There could be some common pockets of interest, some common pockets of collaboration. Okay.
Very good.
Yeah. Oh, MTW is Move the Wheel.
Move the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any other queries? Akila, any queries from any of your people or anything?
Not right now, actually. They don't have it.
Okay, sure. Shiva, any questions for me?
Nothing right now. What we can do is, as we go along, Lakshmi, we will also work with you, because some certain things that you're doing, I think it will benefit a lot of our audience also, the beneficiaries. So at that time, we will work with you and see as to how we can all collaborate.
Sure, definitely.
Okay, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Shiva. Thank you so much for taking time and joining this session. And the brand storytelling, right? That's the big. See, one other thing. Now, in general, we as Indians, we don't talk a lot. So we do great work. They do great work, but we really don't talk as much. So I think, this brand storytelling is basically to enable that part, so that, we really know great work is being done.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Shiva, so much. More power to you for enabling, and we'll catch up in the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone who joined. Bye-bye. Have a great day.